Hello! We are back with our third and final adventure of the evening, one which I've called Swedish Fishing, which is a very fun title. But before we get into it, as always, we're just going to take a minute and get to know everyone that we got joining us tonight. So without further ado, let's meet our first adventure tonight. Coming back after a strong win in the flower garden, we have returning once more Holly. Holly, welcome.
Hi, I'm Holly.
How are you this evening, Holly?
A little tired.
Yes, understandable. It is getting pretty late. How late do Firbolg sleep usually? Are you kind of like early to bed, early to rise type, Holly?
No, I'm usually studying my book, but other Firbolgs go to sleep quite early.
Mm-hmm. You had to kind of have that ingrained in your culture. Well, tonight, as a Firbolg, when I often think of Firbolgs, I often think of kind of a connection to nature, as that's what they're known for, but you're more of the studying type. Do you consider yourself kind of distant from your people, or is this kind of like, is your Firbolg society a little bit different? Like, is this a common kind of thing, or are you definitely a little bit eccentric among your own kin?
I could be considered eccentric, but I hung around with the elves a lot. It was pretty fun. I don't have a lot of connections with my past, as people call it, strongholds.
Well, certainly, eccentric is common and celebrated here among Bartholomew's adventuring group, and I imagine even though you may not have any as much connection with that kind of past thing, it certainly will be easy for you to find friends here among Bartholomew's adventuring crew. So, Holly the Firbolg Wizard, it is good to have you back tonight. Welcome back, Holly.
Thank you.
Of course. And coming up next, we have the niece of Clinton Slaughtermurder. We have Joy Slaughtermurder returning once more. How are you, Joy? Also, hello. Oh, see, I love it when people remember my name. It's so rare that adventurers,
Well, it is Pete and Jeremy's D&D time.
I mean, that's true, but a lot of people aren't aware of that. That's kind of like a secret, kind of down low thing that most people are in Bartholomew's shop aren't privy to. So I guess you're one of the chosen few. How are you doing after your last adventure? You helped out some flowers. Eventually, I know there was a couple of moments where things got bleak. There was a bee that was still sad after you dealt with them, but overall,
I know.
You brought a lot of joy to that flower garden.
Yeah, and I guess if I bring mostly joy, then it's okay. But I really want everyone to be happy, God wills it.
Wait, which god was that?
God Maragnan.
Maragnan. Can you tell me a little bit about Maragnan?
Well, he's always about the shining mornings and grog, too. I don't know why the grog part, but I mean...
As grog is in, like, alcohol and drinking?
Yeah.
Is Joy a heavy drinker?
Well, I mean, I don't like to brag, but...
Fair enough. I won't make you brag if you don't like to do it.
But
Joy,
I
welcome.
beat my sister in a drinking contest, and I almost beat Clint, but he brought out some weird infernal stuff, and that's the hard stuff.
I feel like Clinton Slaughtermurder does not necessarily have a strong... He doesn't have a constitution to drink a lot of alcohol, but he can drink some strange things and end up okay. I feel like your uncle can.
Yeah, he brought out a strange thing, and I don't quite remember what happened afterwards. The couch was on top of me, so I don't know. Things got a little weird.
Almost cheating. Yeah. Anyway, Joy, welcome. Welcome. It's good to have you back. Hopefully we can spread some more joy.
Yeah.
Next, we have another kind of ancestor here, another second generation DnDTime winner. We have Elysia Silverblood. Welcome.
Yes, thank you for welcoming me, Jeremy.
That's incorrect. I'm Pete. I just talked about how much my name's Pete. How could you do this to me, Elysia?
Yeah, you made him sad.
Father is always so serious about referring to the DMs by their name. I'm terribly sorry. I'm not all that good with the names.
That's okay, Elysia. We'll let it pass. So, how are you today, Elysia? How is your how's your adventuring around DnDTime been going? I believe it's been a little while. The first one, I know, was pretty dangerous, but you did eventually prevail.
Well, I'm not one to brag, but it was quite the smashing success, although it was much more dangerous than I expected. I even got this fine monocle from Father to commemorate it.
Oh yes, you have the miser's monocle.
Indeed, and I know I haven't been adventuring for some time, but you would also be appalled if you've seen how he handles the funds of the temple. It's quite atrocious. I've been helping him get that in order as of late.
Well, that is good to hear, because there's nothing that we wish for more than the success of the Temple of Selune, run by Lance Silverblood, as well as his. Has he been spending a little bit too much money on the beard help?
Actually, I think he's been trying to negotiate a deal to have some bard or whatnot be, the more purveyor. He's more the figurehead now. I believe he was going on that.
Well, good to see him taking more of a management role, and it's good to have you adventuring with us again, Elysia. Welcome.
Thank you, Pete.
Good correction there at the end. And last but certainly not least, we have returning once more, Isaac. Isaac, how are you?
Quite good. So, Pete.
So I have my first question for you, Isaac. I noticed that your name is all capital letters. Does it stand for something?
I would not know.
Fair enough. And is it pronounced any differently, like in all caps? Should I exclaim your name when I see you, Isaac?
Normally that would not be done, but that does sound quite novel.
Very well. At least in this introductory segment, for the rest of the thing, I shall refer to you as Isaac. So, Isaac, tell me what's new. We have actually 3 returns from that same garden adventure. We just have Elysia joining you for the first time. How have you been faring? Your worship of... remind me of the name of your god once more.
The Machina, of course.
Yes, the Machina. How has spreading the good word of the Machina been going?
Moderately well. I've been in contact with a small village.
Oh, really? Are there any other of your own kind there, or are they still just kind of finding themselves taking to the Machina through your, force of personality?
Yes. My charismatic personality has convinced them to mostly convert to the Machina.
Well, I am very glad to hear that you've been finding some success out in the world. And I hope you find success in tonight's adventure as well.
As do I.
And without further ado, let us begin said adventure. Bartholomew has sent all of you up to the Big Rock Candy Mountains, which, for anyone who is not familiar with the Big Rock Candy Mountains, it is as you may suspect, a mountain range filled with candy, which sounds like a paradise and like it would be a very fun place to go. However, despite the sort of sugary appearance of the place, it can actually be pretty harsh and brutal. The climate kind of prevents a lot of teleportation in and out, so Bartholomew actually had to teleport you into the region pretty far south of the mountains proper. And you've kind of had to walk for a pretty good chunk of time north to eventually reach. You braved pretty ferocious ice cream winds to reach your contact. Ice cream falls instead of snow in the Big Rock Candy Mountains, again, for those of you who've never been here before.
It's so yummy.
It's actually... that's your first thought, Joy, is like, ooh, ice cream, yummy, and you go to pick it up. It doesn't even taste good. It's just kind of sweet, but it's completely flavorless. It's just iced cream.
Flavorless ice cream? What have these people done?
I don't know. I thought joining Bartholomew's adventures would let me come here and I'd eat all the candy I want, but...
Is this even ice cream? It's just shredded ice.
My nose is cold.
I'm gonna ask Uncle Clint for a big old scoop of his patented Slightly dead ice cream.
Slightly dead ice cream. When you get back, I'm sure that there will be one waiting for you at the swamp. But for now, you kind of make this journey farther and farther north. You walk through kind of the ice cream plains or the snowfalls. You walk through forests where candy canes grow up like trees. You walk over hills of rolling gingerbread. And eventually, you find yourself in a pretty remote location deep in the heart of the Candy Mountain woodlands. You're very high up in the altitude at this point. A long time ago, you kind of felt your ears pop from the pressure, and you eventually reach the point that you're looking for, a river. You kind of have to follow along it for a while, and as you're kind of looking in the river, kind of along your right, you're walking kind of upstream to where you were supposed to meet the individual that you're going to be helping out, a lizardfolk fisherman specifically. You can see the river. It's sort of this very kind of light. It's sort of this kind of very light greenish color. It's almost see-through, and you can occasionally see skipping in this river. There's a pretty dense amount of fish that are swimming in it. And occasionally you can see one kind of mount the surface, its tail flapping as the kind of green water splashes up. And you can see these fish. They appear to be made of like this kind of like gummy candy almost, and they're all kind of different bright colors, just bright reds, bright yellows, greens, oranges, that are all kind of like flopping and swimming along the stream. It seems that the Swedish fish are running at this time of year. Continuing this path, you eventually reach your contact. You see a lizard folk woman sitting, kind of setting up a fishing pole, and she's kind of in the process of getting the fishing line and kind of wrapping it up around. And as you kind of get closer, there's like a small, there's kind of a small campfire that she has set up. You can hear the sound of the river kind of running around you. And she speaks up to all of you and just says, "Hello."
Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
What's up?
Beautiful afternoon, isn't it? She's wearing kind of heavy. She's wearing kind of heavy furs. A lot of it kind of seems to be. It looks like she's actually, for anyone with familiar, it looks like she's wearing almost a Yeti costume, but the Yeti doesn't go down past, the fur doesn't go down past the legs. It just kind of ends at the waist, and it has big long arms that end in like Yeti claws that the fur completes around the hands. I hope you all dressed for warm weather, or cold weather rather, dressed warm.
Ah, unfortunately, I am entirely metal, so this will be a cold one.
Indeed, and you can't feel the cold as everyone else can, but you are noticing that in this kind of cold weather, occasionally your joints are like locking up a little bit more. You have to use some of your oil of the machina a bit more liberally to kind of keep yourself moving at top condition. What is everyone else wearing?
More or less, I suppose. And Elysia will do a little spin in her vestments, and you can see little tufts of sort of white fur poking out from the edges.
Nice. Anyone else got any fancy winter gear? Or?
Yeah, Joy's wearing a coat that is questionably alive, and
Yeah, you all hear just kind of a low, like a low purring from Joy's coat.
yep, and it's tucked into her armor, so the armor's on the outside.
Excellent. What about you, Holly? Any kind of special shift?
Holly's pretty big. He weighs like 300 pounds.
Oh yes.
Yeah, he's pretty warm on his own, but he's wearing almost like shamanic clothes. But it's like, it's not him. It's just what's easiest to wear. That's what he's used to.
Those were like just the regular clothes growing up, and even when you took on more of a wizardly role, it was just like, well, these are comfortable and they fit. I dig. Cool, and she speaks to all of you. So, we're going to be going after the big one.
The big one?
The big one.
That's right, the big one. And she kind of like smiles a little bit as she says, the one that got away. Every fisherman has a tale of some big fish that they've tried to catch and have been unsuccessful.
How big is
this? Is mine. Oh, big. And she puts her arms out as far as she can, and she goes, bigger than that. And her arm span is pretty
big.
I know.
Wow.
It's the Swedish fish run this time of year. I've been coming after it for the last couple of decades, but I haven't had any success. I've cast my line out, but it's proven a bit too strong. But I've been bulking up, and she kind of like flexes a little bit, and you see that she's absolutely ripped underneath like the kind of loose-fitting clothes as she kind of pulls it back. And I think I'm finally strong enough to hold on. Yes, I think I can hold on to the line this time. Of course, if I'm holding on to the line, I'll need you all to steer the boat. I don't think I can do it alone as much as I would have liked to have claimed the prize by only my own strength.
We're in Johan, good
I would be
system.
amenable to helping you pilot your boats.
That would be excellent. How does this work? Do I pay you now? I pay you after, yes?
Yeah, you pay us after, and you don't pay us at all if you're not satisfied.
Maybe we shouldn't tell her that.
I've heard it. I've heard it now, she says, and kind of walks over to the boat. It's going to be a little while before the big one shows up. At least I think we might have to wait for a while. So if you'd like, I'm going to do some light fishing to warm up. I have some extra poles if any of you are interested.
Yes,
I would love to join you.
That sounds lovely.
And she kind of walks over to her raft that she has set up in this river. The river's moving pretty quick. It's not, rapids per se, but the stream moves at a steady clip, and there's, bountiful fish within. She has a fishing pole, but she's an absolute expert. And the raft itself, it looks like instead of logs, she kind of created it from cinnamon sticks. And it's like kind of 4 really thick cinnamon sticks that are, about 6 thick cinnamon sticks. Try saying 6 thick cinnamon sticks. I did very good there.
6 thick cinnamon sticks.
Cinnamon sticks.
Maybe it's easier than it sounds. And the 6 of them are kind of lashed together with what looks like black licorice. And then the mast kind of goes up, and there's just like a regular piece of cloth for the mast. And she looks at all of you, and she kind of goes, "It's a fine cotton candy weave," as she points at it. So,
Joy has started drooling.
and she's just kind of like, the way she's catching fish, she's not even using her fishing pole at this point, which looks like very heavy and reinforced. Like, that is not made of candy. It looks like it's made of steel, and that the fishing line is almost like a thick wire. But right now, she's not even fishing with the fishing pole. She's just like reaching in and like grabbing them out of the water because they're so plentiful. She goes in and grabs one, pulls out a big kind of wriggling bright green Swedish fish, and just bites into it. Just, they're best while they're still fresh. Then she takes a handful of like the kind of green water and slurps it down, and kind of shakes her head a little bit. It's like she's kind of waking herself up. Do all you want to like fish a little bit before the big one comes?
Yes. Holly wants to try.
I would remove my cloak and use it to catch as many fish as possible.
All right, you throw your cloak into the water. I'd like everyone who wants to fish to make me a survival check. There are extra fishing rods for anyone who wants to use a fishing rod. If you have some other trick, let me know.
Do we have fishing nets?
She doesn't have nets. She seems like you could like kind of make a makeshift net. Like, oh man, you're all doing very well.
Elysia will try to make a makeshift net, and she will cast Frostbite on any fish near the surface, and then net out them frozen.
That's excellent. All right, Elysia, go ahead and make me an attack roll. We'll show your average. It's a con save. Okay, this fish, there's no way it fails. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry, no way it succeeds is what I meant to say. So yeah, you kind of like conjure a cold blast and get a chunk of fish, and you're kind of moving in this way and having some success. You get like a red one, an orange one, a yellow one, kind of a collect them all. And as you're kind of pulling them out, most of them look the same. Occasionally you'll see some that are kind of like different. There's like other Swedish fish in here that aren't part of like this big run that seems to be happening right now. It looks like a lot of these fish are migrating, but there's just other ambient fish like Joy, for example, as you're kind of fishing. Are you using the pole, or what's your strategy?
Joy is definitely using the pole.
Most of these look kind of like smaller herrings, but with your pole, you kind of throw in and pull out a big bass that kind of flops down onto the deck and it's kind of like jumping around. And
Swedish bass?
Oh yeah, it's a Swedish bass. No, it's not just a regular bass. Yeah, it's a Swedish bass. And it actually looks like it's two different flavors on one fish. It has some kind of like yellow and some lemon and orange flavored scales.
Joy's gonna just tuck that away into her pack.
Yeah, your pack is now wiggling around a lot, which is probably not that abnormal for your pack anyway.
That's about right.
Yeah, absolutely, Isaac. You get the cloak in there and are catching them up, and it's lambs to the slaughter, so to speak. It's catching fish in a big giant cloak when there's a ton of them, and you pull out a big haul and have plenty to eat. Although I don't think you eat, right? You catch and release.
Give me, Isaac! Give me!
But I don't for sustenance.
Isaac, give me! Give me! Uncle
Joy
Clay
is
can
over there
use all of these.
to give me. And of course you, Holly, got your fishing. You fishing rod? Is that your strat?
No, Holly's copying the lizard woman, and he wants to bait the fish immediately.
Okay, yeah. You reach in and spear the fish kind of on your claw, and because Firbolgs have kind of claws, right? Either way, you spear the fish and grab it and immediately bite into it. You get one of the classic bright red Swedish fish, and oh, it's good. Like, the ice cream was flavorless, but these are good eating for everybody. Very bright and sweet.
This is divine.
Joy, do you want to try one of these? They're kind of like ice cream, all frosty and delicious.
Yeah. She just dives forward and noms whatever one you're holding.
Yes. And as you were all kind of enjoying all of these fish and just kind of having some fun on the raft right now, after that first fish, this lizard folk woman was, she was very attentive. She was just kind of looking out on the horizon. Has just been kind of like waiting for something, and she's just kind of waiting and waiting, and you're catching more and more fish. Like an hour, 2 hours pass of just fishing and kind of relaxing, and she's just very vigilantly watching kind of upriver where things are flowing down from. And eventually she speaks out to all of you, "Ready!" And you see in the distance, there's kind of a piece of the river. It looks like the water on the river is catching like a bunch of spray and like kind of splashing up above the surface, and that kind of big almost like wave of spray is moving towards the river, down the river towards you very fast. And before you really even have time to react, it's already like reaching the boat and kind of moving past you. It's like lightning, and you see this lizard folk woman grab the fishing line that she has and just cast as far as she can, ahead as she can into the distance, and the line just kind of sinks somewhere into that pile of spray, and then you see the line catch and start to just kind of reel, and the line is reeling out and out, and she's kind of just holding on to the fishing line, waiting for it to like fully catch, and just kind of like flexing up her muscles. Everyone brace yourselves!
I would brace myself.
Joy's just gonna cling on to the side of the boat.
Elysia will kind of just drop on her back prone in the boat to get that good, not quite foot in.
I have a question.
Holly's gonna hold on to Joy.
As a Warforged, could I swim?
You could swim, yes. You can swim, but as you are kind of having that thought, you watch the lines getting closer and closer to out. Like, she's kind of like tucked the fishing rod into like a fastener that she had on the mast of the boat and is holding on to like the line proper and like getting ready to brace yourself. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the line snaps and you feel the boat lurch. And all of a sudden you start whipping down the river at an extremely high speed, being dragged forward by the big one. As you're all, I would like you all to make either dexterity or strength saving throws to kind of hold your footing as all of a sudden you are kind of brought from 0 to 60.
Sure.
Oh gosh. Elysia, you got a firm hold on the you got a kind of a firm hold on the mast, but everyone else yeah, it was strength or dex, so you were good either way. Everyone else kind of just like suddenly taken, even prepared, they were caught on a kind of weren't expecting as much of a lurch and fall over and are now kind of like everyone's kind of laying on their stomachs. You're still holding on to the raft, but you're just kind of, your legs are, you're all in a row with your legs kind of like flailing off the back, like picking up water as you are being dragged along. Right as you're having that thought about being able to swim, you now realize that this thing is going way too fast for you to keep up with it if you tried to get it in swim. As you start kind of moving along, the boat is traveling at a pretty good pace. You guys are considered prone plus, which means you're prone and you have to make a check to kind of get up out of prone. So as you are kind of moving along, Elysia, you're the first one there, and the river kind of cuts along a corner. You haven't been around this part yet, and almost immediately you come across a pretty serious roadblock that none of you had noticed. And you hear that woman kind of call out, "Oh, shit!" And the thing that you see in front of you, there is a big candy cane tree that has fallen down and is stretched across the river. That's going to tear the boat apart. And you are moving towards that at a about a 2-round pace. What do all of you do? I'd like you all to, well, for one thing, I'd like you all to roll for initiative. But after that, what do you all do?
Oh man.
Oh man.
Not
we'll roll for the big one as well. All right, so Super Ninja, Isaac, you are the first to act. You are in this kind of hanging on for dear life state as you're getting closer to the as you're getting kind of closer to the fallen tree. What do you wish to do? You can try and get up, or you can try and like do something while you're holding on to it if you have like a spell or some range thing you want to do. But you'll have disadvantage if you're going to do it while you're kind of hanging on to the back of the boat for dear life.
I will cast Totally Dead.
On what?
The tree!
Generally told... Actually, you know what? I'm going to say that this works because it works on things that are already taking damage, and this tree has definitely taken damage. So I'll give it to you. Actually, unfortunately, you are out of range. I'm sorry, I didn't realize the range was only 60 feet. You're about 120 feet. At the beginning of the next round, you will be in range to do that, but right now you're about 120 feet out. The boat's moving
Could
at a
I
couple of
attempt a trick shot with my crossbow?
I think also that's a two-handed weapon, so you'd have to let go of the back to do that. You're in a little bit of a tricky spot right now.
I'll get up then.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a strength check. Oh, nice. Nice roll. Yeah. Oh, you're pretty strong. You reach out and kind of pull yourself up onto the back of the boat and are able to stand up. You're now in a lot better position for your next round, although you did have to take some time as the boat careens faster and faster forward. That is going to bring us to... that is going to bring us to Holly. What do you want to do, Holly? You're also hanging off. You look over, Joy's next to you. You watch as Isaac pulls himself up.
I think I'm going to pull myself up, too.
All right, go ahead and make me a strength check. Nice. Oh man, both of you are rolling on point. You drag yourself up onto the raft. You're now kind of comfortably standing there as well. The raft is pretty small. It's about a 10 foot square, a little bit longer than that. And that is going to bring us to Elysia. What would you like to do? You are already kind of up. The candy cane tree is about 120 feet out.
Elysia will kind of steady herself, grab her onto the mast with her left arm, and Monty! You watch as the viper belt she has wriggles to life.
Oh, yes.
Rolling out to her right hand, now a beautiful viper-esque wand, and she will do the old point and shoot. And luckily, 120 feet is just in range for a firebolt, and she will shoot at the base of the tree wherever it's connected to the land. Oh, no, I always click on the wrong...
Yeah, it's a classic mistake. 16 is going to hit. Roll damage on that.
That's sweet stuff.
You shoot out a blast of fire. It strikes right at the kind of the edge where the tree would kind of connect. Did you say you're aiming for where it connects to the land?
Yes, right there to kind of cut it off.
On the base side or on the far side? On the side where the trunk was, or on the side where it cut on the opposite?
The side with the trunk. Cut off the thick bit.
Okay. Cool. The firebolt crashes into it. You see it start to burn away and kind of crack a little bit under the heat. That's not enough to do it, though. It's pretty thick and old. That is going to bring us now to you, Joy, who's still hanging on to the bottom of this boat. Your two friends kind of help themselves up. What do you wish to do, Joy?
I'm gonna get up.
All right, go for it. Strength. 13, just barely enough, as you also clamber up onto the boat, and you're now all kind of righted in this position. And at this point, the raft continues to drag forward as the big one pulls it onward. The fish around you are being, like, you see the boat kind of like tearing up the water, and the fish are just kind of like spraying up in the air. Occasionally one like lands and starts flopping on the raft that you're on. That is going to bring us back to the top of the initiative, as the big one's just pulling you right now. So that's going to be you again, Isaac. You're steadied. You're ready to act. You're 60 feet away from the target. What do you want to do?
So I'm in range for Toll the Dead.
If you wish to, yes.
I shall cast it.
All right. The tree is going to make a wisdom saving throw. The tree fails. Actually, I'm sorry. You can only, unfortunately, target creatures with Toll the Dead, and the tree is not a creature. I misunderstood how that spell worked. I thought you were just, like, draining the life.
Ah, well. I will shoot it with my crossbow.
All right, excellent. Go ahead and make an attack with the crossbow. 17 hits. Roll damage. Ooh, it's a good roll. The crossbow bolt flies out, and you strike kind of at I assume the same kind of spot where Elysia was hitting. Or do you aim elsewhere?
I would aim where she had aimed.
All right, yeah, it was already kind of cracking, and with this crossbow bolt, it strikes into the candy cane tree. It's brittle because it is candy at the end of the day, and combined with the fire, a lot of it kind of cracks away. It is getting pretty near to being downed, but not quite. Who is next? That's going to be Holly next. What do you wish to do, Holly?
I would like to cast Chill Touch.
Can Chill Touch target something other than a creature?
I don't know.
Chill Touch is like also kind of a necromantic spell. Can you throw the spell up for me, and we'll take a look?
I guess I'm just gonna cast True Strike instead.
The way it works is if you click it on the front of your character sheet, it'll come up. On like the front page, it'll be under the attacks and spell casting, probably.
Like that? No. Darn it. I think I messed it up.
No, it should. Oh yeah. There you go. All right, so the hand kind of, you watch as this kind of ghostly hand appears and tries to like drain some of the life out of this tree, making it even more brittle. Unfortunately, an 8 does miss as the hand appears. So it's probably, is that all for your turn?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. That's going to, in that case, be Elysia.
Elysia will once again fire that mote of flame.
Do it up. Yep, it's gonna hit. Damage. 11. It kind of crashes into the mote of flame, and the candy cane tree sinks into the water. That is going to bring us to. That is going to bring us to you, Joy. The candy cane tree is now in the water, so it's kind of it's like going to be possible for the ship to dodge it since it's kind of floating, but it's also still in the river and you're kind of getting closer to it. Is there some way that you can like kind of maybe make the boat avoid it or do something to like push it under before you kind of go into it?
Is there anything around that I can push the boat on? Oh wait, I know. She'll just stick her sword into the water on one side and steer the boat away gently.
Okay, that's probably going to be an. Do you have proficiency in water vehicles, perchance?
No.
Fair enough. Go ahead and make me. I'll let you pick. What skill would you think you would want to use for that? I would say probably survival would be okay. A general intelligence kind of roll. Because it seems like you're trying to like navigate it, or is it just like raw force? You're just trying to like push the boat aside.
Well, it's more like athletics because I'm just fighting the water and trying to yank it to the side.
I'll give you athletics. All right, go for it.
All right. Oop.
9. All right, you kind of push the boat a little bit to the side. It's tough to fight the current and also the kind of forward pull of the big one. You don't get too far with it, and the raft kind of crashes into the tree, not taking nearly as much damage as it would have. Like the mast is fine because it kind of rolls up and over it. The boat takes a little bit of damage, but it's still holding on. If it takes like too many of those, it might break, but you definitely mitigated the most of it as you all kind of pass over this obstacle and continue downriver. At this point, you all are just kind of like going with the flow and kind of readying yourself for anything else that comes next. There's a few chunks of rocks that you have to avoid coming up, but like with your combined strengths, you're able to kind of like slowly weave the boat in between back and forth, ever tethered by that big chain. And the lizardfolk woman kind of speaks up, turns and looks to all of you. You're doing an excellent job, by the way. Hold on a little bit longer. I know there's going to be a great opportunity to get it soon.
All right, you can count on us.
Let's hope so.
And as she says that, up ahead, you're kind of on a straightaway on the river, and you can see what looks like another thing that's cut across the river. It looks like a black net that's just kind of moving across the river. It looks like actually a weave of licorice. And you hear her call out, "Oh, I forgot to mention, technically we're not allowed to fish here."
Oh, jeez.
I mean,
We poached all those fish?
I mean, it makes
makes
her happy. It's fine.
And
I
she goes,
don't believe the authorities would accept that as a reason.
I don't care. If it makes someone happy, then it's fine.
I don't
To
want
be
to
fair, they're quite delicious.
she goes, when we caught the fish, we were in my tribe's territory. But since then, it has dragged us into that of a rival tribe. And the net's getting kind of closer and closer.
Could we be attacked?
She looks at you, and she kind of gives like... she just kind of looks at you and smiles without answering.
Oh, no.
Oh, my.
We could do it.
You're getting very close to this net now. It's like going across like the whole river. Like I said, it's like a licorice weave. It doesn't look in particularly hard to break apart, but you will get caught up in it if you don't do anything.
Can Joy ready in action to slash at it?
Yeah, you ready in action to slash as you get closer. Anyone else want to do anything? Any like kind of ready to action?
Elysia will cast Mage Armor on herself and use a bonus action to convert sorcery points back into that spell slot.
All right, cool. Anyone else have anything they want to do?
Holly will help out with his dagger.
All right, cool. And what about you, Isaac?
I zoned out.
What you what?
I kind of zoned out for a bit there. I apologize.
Fair enough. Isaac's just there, kind of like looking off in the distance as you get closer to the net, and there was an particularly shiny fish that caught your eye, and you all careen closer and closer. Those of you who had ready to tax, go ahead and make those. 12 is good enough, and 21 is certainly good enough. Both of you roll damage. The way you roll damage is by clicking on the word dagger where it appears in chat. Nice. So that's going to be a total of... Do you deal that extra 3 damage from something?
That would be the versatile roll, but she was just doing a normal roll.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So 15 total damage. Yeah, that's enough. It wasn't too hard as you get closer, especially splashing damage does double. You swing the kind of sword downwards, cutting a huge kind of swath, and the net falls to the side safely. But you see on the banks of the river as you do this, a bunch of kind of like other lizard folk are looking out at the boat kind of angrily, and you see them behind you a couple seconds later pitch their own rafts and are trying to catch up with you, and they're like attempting to board you. They're moving pretty quick. It looks like they have something that's like boosting their speed from behind.
How close are they?
In
Step
total,
on
there
it! Make the fish go faster!
I think we'd die if we did that, and I don't think it's also possible. And these two boats kind of pull in from behind and are getting closer and closer to you. At this point, they're 60 feet away and gaining on you pretty steadily.
Joy's gonna throw a Joyvelin at one of them.
Yeah, they gotta roll for initiative.
Yeah. Good.
Where's their initiative? It's here. It's here. Oh, yeah, they go last. All right. Oh, you guys don't have to roll again. You guys, I'm just going to keep your same initiative from before. So in that case, that means, Isaac, you were the first to act as they're getting closer. They're getting kind of a slow start, it looks like. So they kind of fumble a bit as they're getting into the water.
Very well. I will use my crossbow. Actually, who's piloting the boats?
It looks like there's kind of like 2 longboats, and in both of them there's one guy oaring and one guy that looks like they're readying like a spear in both of the 2 boats.
I will shoot one of the oarmen with my crossbow.
16 definitely hits. Roll damage on that. 11 points of damage. Wow, that's a good hit. The arrow kind of flies and hits one of the oarmen, and you hear him kind of mutter something at you in, if any of you speak Draconic, it was a pretty nasty curse word, and it hits him. Just, he yells out as the boats kind of continue to speed forward. Not enough to take him down, unfortunately. That is going to be... Coming up next is Holly. Holly, what do you want to do?
I would like to cast Chill Touch again.
All right, go for it. Are you going for the same guy or a different one? Ooh, that definitely hits. Roll damage.
I'm going to go for the same guy.
All right.
Oh, that was silly of me.
You deal 7 points of damage. The 8 is if you head crit, is how that works. So you hit for 7 points of necrotic damage as you watch the life force being drained out of this oarman. He looks tired as he continues to try and row. It looks like he's not like adding a lot of power with his rowing. It's more that he's just kind of like trying to steer. Like I said, there's something like underneath the boat that's going to be pushing it from the back. That is going to bring us to, it was Elysia next.
The 2 lizard mandrax are still gaining on us with full crew, right?
Yeah.
Do they appear to be gaining on us?
Yes, they do.
Perfect. This will probably not work, but Elysia will cast... Is it on my page? It is not on my page. She will cast Silent Image to make the visage of a, as big as I can, massive, monstrous sea snake come up in between and snap, purposefully missing because it's an illusion, and going back under the water and following us.
Oh, okay. Following you, so to make them not want to chase you. Okay, I see what you're saying. I'm with you. They're gonna roll an intelligence check. Actually, something else is gonna roll an intelligence check. You watch as one of the boats just all of a sudden kind of stops short, and the 2 kind of lizard folk in it both come just kind of careening forward and fall into the water. The lizard folk seem kind of like intimidated by it, but like I said, it's something else that's actually pushing them. So the other 2, even though they're a little bit afraid, are just still being kind of forced forward towards you anyway. But it definitely had a pretty big effect on that first boat. What are you going to do, Joy?
Alright. Well, I think I'll do this. This. Huh. I'll bless everyone.
You can only bless 3 people.
Blessings of the Machina!
Well, bless. I'll bless the customer or patron or
Okay.
help her, and then I'll bless my 2 buds from last time.
Cool. You bless.
Holly?
So you bless Holly,
And Isaac.
The lizard woman, and Isaac. Perfect. As you kind of call upon. Remind me your god's name again. It was a tricky one.
God Maragnan.
Oh wait, Maragnan, of course. I wasn't there when I wasn't there for Maragnan's inception, but Maragnan grants blessings upon the 3 of you. Those of you who received it, feel yourself emboldened, empowered, as you continue to kind of move along. And at this point, the lizard folk, the boat that's still moving towards you, you can see underneath it, the kind of like wave from the back. You see like a big snapping alligator kind of move up, and its arms are kind of, its legs are kind of like moving at an incredible pace as it's like pushing itself forward in the water, propelling this boat. That appears to be the thing that's dragging it. The other 2 lizard folk, as they're being kind of brought closer and closer towards you, they're going to toss javelins at your boat. One of them is going to go at you. And one of them is going to go probably at Holly, and then the other one's going to go at Elysia. So the first one's at Holly. Does a 14 hit, Holly?
Yes, a 14 hits.
Does a 16 hit Elysia?
Just.
So yes, you take up 4 points of piercing damage as this javelin flies into you. It looks like the sharpened piece of candy cane, and the same to you, Holly.
But I
you
have
managed to make
protection
it
fighting style. Ugh.
You impose disadvantage, I assume, on the first?
Yeah.
Okay. Has to roll with disadvantage. Unfortunately, it still hits. Technically, the damage should have already happened, so we'll say it's still the 4 piercing damage. So unfortunately, yeah, you go to throw your shield up in front of the attack, but you're unable to get there, and it still strikes Holly. That is going to be it for the lizard folks' turn. They're now closer to you. They're only 30 feet away. They'll be able to kind of like board next turn. That is going to bring us to the first initiative, which was that was you, Isaac. What do you want to do? Yes.
I believe I will cast Toll the Dead on the alligator behind the second boat.
Yeah, for sure. Go for it. He's going to make a wisdom save, right?
Indeed.
It's going to be a D20. The alligator is not super wise. 15, I think, succeeds, actually, right?
Let me see. Not actually sure what it's rolling against.
That would be your spell save DC, which is going to be on your spells page.
Alright. It just makes it.
Okay. Yeah, the alligator kind of looks at you, and it just looks at you with its terrifying alligator eyes, and it seems like it's having none of what you're putting out here. That is going to bring us to Holly. What do you wish to do? There's one boat still coming after you. One of them just kind of bailed when that image appeared.
I believe I'm going to cast Thunderwave.
What is the range on that?
Each creature in a 15-foot cube.
Yeah, but as I believe Thunderwave is centered on you, correct? Because they are 30 feet away at this point.
Never mind.
Sorry. You can ready. What you can do is, if you want, ready your action when they become in range. You can like send a Thunderwave out at them if that's what you want to do.
I
It
think
looks like
I
it's
want
getting closer to catching up.
Holly's pretty weak. He's a pretty weak boy. I think he's gonna cast Mage Armor on himself.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you watch as this kind of magical sheen appears over Holly's very big Firbolg body, protecting him from future attacks. That is going to, I think, then bring us to Elysia. What do you want to do?
Elysia is rather painfully going to remove the javelin, drop prone down in the base of the, can't think of the word, small boat we're on, and she will use her action to once again have her illusionary sea serpent try to distract and make a missing attack against the lizard men to draw some attention.
Okay. It's going to make another kind of like fake attack. You might be able to kind of mess with the lizard men a little bit, so I'll have them make intelligence saves.
One of them fails.
They both fail. Both of them are pretty like spooked by this big thing. Like I said, it's the alligator that's already succeeded that's kind of pulling them forward. So it's not going to halt their kind of progress, but they're still like very scared coming up towards you. It might kind of affect some of their rolls a bit.
Bingo.
Is that all for your turn?
That'll be it.
Cool. That is going to bring us to Joy. What do you want to do?
All right. She's gonna take out her javelin and start aiming it at the crocodile.
All right.
The Sweetwater crocodile.
Sweetwater crocodile. Go ahead. That's a great joke. Sweetwater croc. It should have been an alligator. I messed up. Wait, no. Did I say alligator or crocodile?
You said crocodile.
You said alligator, I believe.
I doubt that.
You toss your javelin forward. An 11 is going to
14.
Isn't it just 11? I thought you gave bless to the woman and your two friends.
Oh yeah, true. I forgot
actually,
it doesn't affect me either.
You can, if you want to say that you gave it to yourself instead of someone, I will allow that since you thought it did.
No, it's fine.
Okay. All right. So yeah, unfortunately, an 11 just misses as you toss it towards the kind of swimming alligator who's coming up on you. That is going to be it for your turn, I assume.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else? All right.
Nope.
Cool. So it's going to be the lizardfolk turn, who get closer. They're still kind of spooked by this giant water serpent that's like ducking in and diving. But they are going to make attacks against. They're each going to make 2 attacks as they kind of like just abandon their boat and jump onto yours. It's very close quarters now. They're going to make 1 attack against each of you. So one of them is going to bite. That's against. That's going to be against Holly. This one's going to be against Joy. This one is going to be against Elysia.
They're on the boat now, right?
Yep, and this one's going to be against Isaac.
They have advantage against Elysia.
I'm going to.
Oh dear, he could fail.
I'm going to pose disadvantage on Elysia.
It still hits.
I don't know, but I don't care. I would still try to protect you.
Elysia is unconscious, and the sea serpent dissipates.
Why does that hit you? Wait. Why does it still hit?
Prone, I guess?
It's a 19.
Yeah, but disadvantage means that they'd have to roll again.
I dropped prone last turn because I thought they were staying there.
Oh, okay. My apologies. I missed that. So yes, that hits for 8 points of bludgeoning damage, and Elysia goes down. On the rest of you, does a 16 hit you, Joy?
Nope.
All right, cool. Everyone else is still up, but Elysia has taken some pretty heavy damage, and the 2 raiders are on the boat now. That is going to bring us to. That is going to bring us to the top of the initiative, Isaac.
All right. Are there any other clerks to me?
Yeah, they're all on the boat. You can go after any of them. They're right next to you. Can you toll the dead again?
I believe not. I will use my generic iron mace to hit one in the face. That right.
Excellent. Oh man! Excellent decision. Go ahead and roll damage on that. 12 points of damage. This one was already weakened a little bit, and as you kind of bring your generic iron mace of death up upon it, I love how much description there is of that generic iron mace. You swing up, and one of these lizardfolk catches it about the jaw, and you hear as he topples out of the boat, defeated. You hear, "Stay out of our..." And he splashes into it, and a bunch of fish swim over him, and he's covered in fish. And what seems to be lemon lime Kool-Aid is what this river appears to be. That is going to bring us to... nice hit. That's going to bring us to Holly. Holly, there's one left on the boat right next to you. You've geared up with your armor of the mage.
Oh, wait. I apologize for interrupting, but I do have a bonus.
Oh, my apologies. Is there a healing word, perhaps?
Indeed.
My bad. I forgot about that. So yes, you cast healing word, I imagine, on Elysia?
Yes.
All right, cool. Go ahead and roll me a d4 plus your spellcasting ability modifier. So plus your wisdom modifier. Which I think for you is a...
Hey.
Yeah. Rad. So you heal 6 points, Elysia. You breathe deep the crisp Candy Mountain air and find yourself revitalized. Excellent. In that case, that's a very strong turn. The crit and then the max healing. Nicely done, Isaac.
Thank you.
That is going to bring us to... that is going to bring us to... Holly. Yes, that's what it was. What's it going to be, Holly?
Oh my! I changed my touch to talk thing. Is that the same lizard man who speared me?
The one. Wait. The one in front of you.
I took a candy spear to the whatever area.
Yes, this is the one that just. This is the one that hit you before.
I'm gonna cast True Strike on it first.
All right, so you're going to cast True Strike. I think True Strike you cast on an ally, and then it makes one of their attacks better. Or am I remembering that wrong? I haven't used that spell in quite a while. Oh, nice. Never mind. I apologize. I was wrong. So, okay, on your next turn, you will have advantage on the attack against this individual as you're getting ready to smite this fool.
Can I pull the spear out as well, or do I just leave it?
Oh, the spear, it didn't like stick into you, it just kind of like poked you. Yeah, I'll say that as a free action, you can rip the spear out dramatically and toss it aside.
Okay, I look very cool.
Yes, you look very cool as you rip the spear out. So that's going to bring us to Elysia. Yeah, well, why don't you roll a performance? That's a good idea.
Oh no, my charisma's bad.
You look you look moderately cool. That's going to bring us to Elysia.
Questionably cool.
That's what I love about D&D right there.
I whine a little bit.
Fair.
Elysia's staggering kind of rises from her own breathing deeply. I had the most wonderful dream. There was candy and lizards and fish and... Oh my! Oh, Holly, you look quite cool. Well, not quite cool, but a little cool. You should look quite cool too. And she will reach out Viper and boop this lizard man on the nose and frostbite him.
DC 13 Constitution save. He's going to succeed, unfortunately. Is there anything else on your turn?
That'll do it.
Very well. Joy.
You made my friend sad! Get off our boat!
She's going to slash
Excellent.
and wiggle at him.
Unfortunately, the 6 misses. As you bring your long sword down, you're too blinded by your own anger at how sad they have made your friend to strike true. Is there anything else on your turn?
I'm going to give them the stink eye.
All right, you do that. You give them the stink eye. Go ahead and make me an intimidation check. See if you look also kind of cool. You look extremely cool as you give them the stink eye. They look at you and just, they put one hand over their chest as it almost looks like they've been shot through the heart. By the intensity of your gaze, that's going to bring us to Faux Turn, who between this stink eye is. He can't even look at you, so he's not going to go after you, Joy. Terrified, he swings. Actually, he's going to swing at Isaac. He's going to go after you first with his heavy club. Oh man, you take 9 points of.
Can I
yes, you can impose
little disadvantage on
yes,
that?
Yes, you can. A 19. Does a 19 hit, Isaac?
Yes.
You take 6 points of bludgeoning damage instead of the. You watch. It was going right on top of your head. It was gonna like break through all your gears and all your metal casing, but the shield kind of pushes it slightly aside, kind of mitigating some of the damage. And then it's going to use its other. It's going to use its other attack to bite at. It's going to be biting at you. That was Holly. It was going after.
That hit.
So Holly, you take 5 points of piercing damage.
Why don't you pick on me, you big meanie?
He's still looking at you, and like that stink eye, you can tell he's still very shaken by the stink eye. That's going to bring us to the top of the initiative, which is you, Isaac.
I will leap into the air and with my generic Iron Mace of Death, hit the nearest enemy near to me.
All right, there's only one guy left, and he's on the boat with you, so you swing. 9 unfortunately misses. Anything else?
How much
Isn't he
health
blessed?
does,
Yeah, you're blessed.
ah,
Here, have a bless.
does that add to my attack
Attack
roll?
roll.
Oh, an 11 unfortunately does still miss.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry. That's a good catch, though. I'm trying to remember those from now
Is
on.
there anyone in our party who is damaged?
Yeah, I think everyone's a little bit damaged.
Not
Yeah,
me.
Holly's not. Okay, Joy's good, but Holly's in kind of rough shape.
I will cast Healing Word again, using up
Alright.
my last spell slot.
All right, heal it away. So D4 plus 2. And you gain 4 points of healing, Holly, as you feel yourself slightly revitalized now.
And finally,
that's gonna-
may I see if I look cool while jumping?
See what?
May I look cool while I'm jumping?
Oh, yes. Go ahead and make a cool check of your choice. You look slightly cooler than Holly did, which isn't that cool. Holly.
Certainly not as cool as Joy, who's filled with the
Yes,
right
Joy-
thing,
Joy-
protecting her friends.
Holly is very embarrassed.
Holly, it's your turn. You can make up for it all right now. What do you wish to do?
Can I try to shove the lizard man off the boat?
Yeah, make an athletics check.
I'm a failure.
Well, no, he's got to contest it, so he could still do bad. He could fail more. Unfortunately, yeah, he kind of resists you. You go to kind of like push him off, but he pushes you away as this lizard folk is very tough, it would seem. That's going to bring us to Elysia. What do you want to do?
Elysia.
Never mind.
Okay.
You're good, Elysia. Yeah.
Elysia is just going to try to bonk him on the head with her wand again, casting Frostbite.
All right. Bonk. Con save. Oh man, he's so good. This lizard man is an absolute hero. Anything else on your turn, Elysia?
Why are you attacking us? We just want to catch the fish! As she's just kind of harmlessly bonking him on the head with her wand.
Yeah, the cold kind of goes out, but he just seems very used to the cold. And at this point, the lizard folk woman kind of speaks up. But she just kind of speaks to you. You better hurry it up. We're getting real close to that window I mentioned before. And it's your turn. What do you want to do, Joy?
I kick her. Kick this lizard folk off.
Trying to knock him off? All right. Oh wait, that's the wrong thing. You didn't see anything.
Yeah, no.
You've seen nothing.
Don't worry
Been
about it.
catfished.
I have a question.
What's your question?
Is this Sparta?
Wait, what? Wait, what?
Is this Sparta?
Oh yes, this would appear to be Sparta, as as Joy kind of leans back and kicks this lizard folk right in the chest. They fall backwards and go to kind of go off the raft, but they catch themselves right on the end. They're still holding on for dear life. It looks like they're kind of in that same position you guys were at the start, and at this point it's going to be pretty easy to knock them off as it gets back to your turn. Isaac.
I will attempt to flail both my arms around and hit them both off the boat.
Okay, go ahead and make me just an unarmed strike.
1d4? Or athletics?
So just make an attack with your mace, but it just won't do as much damage. Oh no! You flail your arms around wildly to no avail. Anything else on
Can
your
I
turn?
see if I achieve lift?
You no longer feel embarrassed looking at that, Holly. That is going, and as it passes to your turn, Holly.
Holly's gonna curb stomp this lizard man.
All right, go ahead and make a strength check plus proficiency. Your unarmed strike. Oh my god! You're embarrassed again! He's a
Holly
hero.
just-
The greatest lizard folk.
Holly goes
Elysia.
prone.
Seeing this, Elysia is going to point out with Monty and then stop and... Hold up, Monty. She'll stick him in her belt, walk forward with one of her daggers, and just poke at the lizard man's arm until he lets go.
All right.
Do I get
Wait,
advantage?
didn't I have-
Yes.
Didn't I have True Strike?
Oh, that's true. Wait.
Yeah, you also have this.
Oh yeah, you got tons of stuff. You get tons of stuff. Never mind. I forgot you had True Strike. So you actually got an 8 plus 3 plus your proficiency bonus. So you hit actually. So you go up to this thing. Never mind. And curve stop. You step on the fingers, and you just hear him kind of call out the same thing. Don't go fishing in our waters! As he disappears into the thing, and it splashes. And you hear the lizard folk woman kind of speak up to you and say, "You almost got that cleaned up back there. We're getting to the important part."
Yep.
These lizard men have such a strange willem scream.
So,
Anyone need patching up? And Joy does grabby hands. Very, very suggestive grabby hands.
Elysia will also grabby hands herself.
Oh dear.
I need the grabby hand.
We're stumbling into something not entirely PG.
Joy's gonna go over and grabby hands Holly and Elysia, right? Or did you not want one or two?
If you're off,
One.
So we're all just fumbling with each other now?
You're all just kind of awkwardly like patting each other on shoulders, and as you lay on hands around. So how are you distributing that?
Who looks the worst?
Tough to say, but I think it's Holly.
Okay, Holly gets 5.
That'll bring me to full, actually.
Cool. Holly gets 5. Then maybe Elysia with 3, and then Isaac with 2.
I need an adult.
well,
All right.
would you like the 3 instead, Mr.
and-
Picky?
At this point, you hear the lizard folk go, "No time, we're here!" And you look out at what she's talking about, and it seems that the point that she was talking about that was going to be your opportunity, she just goes out, "When it's in the water, we'll never get it. We have to get it in the air." And at this point, you look at it. Looks like there's actually a bit of a drop off up ahead. As the fish that's pulling you, you see it actually just floating in the air. For the first time, you can see this fish. It is what looks like to be a massive Swedish catfish. Its body is, it's like a very large, it's bigger than your boat that you're on right now. And as you realize it's in the air and kind of like glistening in the sunlight as like the Kool-Aid water reflects, it's in the air because you have just been dragged off of a waterfall. And you hear her call out, "We have to bring it down before we hit the ground. We'll never catch it underwater." I would actually, I think that like at this point for you all to give me a fresh initiative, as you all feel like your stomachs drop, as your boat careens over, and now the boat and all of you are just kind of like tumbling around in the air, battling against this giant Swedish fish.
Elysia gives off her own willem scream.
And giant Swedish fish has got to make a roll as well.
Is the lizard lady gonna come in?
The lizard lady is also going to come in. All right, cool. So the first to act is, this time it is you, Joy. You are now just kind of like falling through the air. This fish is kind of like, doesn't really know how to handle itself as it's moving. You can see the river kind of far below. Lizard folk woman is still kind of like holding onto the boat because she was expecting this. I imagine a lot of you are just kind of like also just in the air, like floating around. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna slash it. I'm gonna get it.
All right, go for it. Make an attack.
No.
You're not used to aerial combat yet, and your longsword swings. And you're also looking down like you're probably gonna die. You realize as you're looking downwards, because this is an extremely far drop. You're like, this is the end. Is the first instinct that you have. The second instinct is probably that this woman is crazy, and the third is that you can't hit things in the air as your attack misses. That is going to bring us to Holly. You're up in the air. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna cast Featherfall.
That is a wise decision.
Can I Featherfall the fish?
Oh shit! Can you Featherfall non-willing creatures?
Yes.
Does it work always, or do they get to make a save?
Oh, let me post it for you.
It just happens? Interesting. All right.
Yeah, I'm not dying today. Thank you.
Wait, do you want to make everyone Featherfall?
Everyone but the lizard lady, because she's crazy.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All of a sudden, in slow motion, she's kind of like looking up at this whale and getting ready to like dive off of the boat, and she watches and she just goes, "Wait!" As all of you are just disappear past her. She plummets very quickly to the ground as you are all now falling in this strange slow motion. That is amazing. And you watch as the boat goes and kind of right as it's about to hit the ground, you watch as on the side of it, like little wings kind of open up, and the boat kind of lands on the river and starts kind of rowing again. And she just looks up at you, kind of like shaking her fist a little bit. But
Holly
you have
feels no
plenty
regret.
of yes, you have plenty of time to fight this giant fish now. Excellent play. That brings us to.
Actually, Pete, that's just a reaction. Holly still gets a turn.
Well, Holly, that happened after initiative started, is the thing.
It's a reaction, not an action.
Yeah, but it was like she didn't do it at the time of the fall.
You can take a reaction at any time during.
Okay, sure. Jerry, stop! Get out of my DM. Get out of here.
Sorry.
Sure. I will. Because it has now been argued, I will give you another action, as I do not wish to cheat you. Go ahead and
Thank you.
take another
I
action.
would've let you- I'll just do a chill touch on him. On
All
the
right,
fish.
go for it. Yeah, roll damage.
I always mess it up.
Yeah, no worries. 2 points of necrotic damage as a spectral hand lashes out and drains some of the giant gummy fish's energy. Cool. Anything else? You have a
No,
bonus
I'm good,
action?
thank
Or...
you.
All right, cool. That is in that case going to be. That's going to be Elysia. What do you want to do?
Elysia, now slow falling, is going to look at the Swedish catfish, redraw Monty, and she closes her eyes for a brief second, and you see a short burst of radiant light that just seems to fade away, and fine. And she will cast a guiding bolt at this boy.
Awesome. Go ahead and make me an attack roll.
Oh man, every time. I don't know why. I can't remember that. Oh my.
That's definitely going to hit. Roll damage on that.
Oh my.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my.
Oh my.
Holy
That is almost maximum damage.
Feel the Lord.
Your guiding bolt.
Salune, smite you!
What is the significance of casting it through the... Oh, it's a +1, right?
It's a +1 to attack, damage, and ignores resistance.
That's very good. And your radiant energy careens outward and deals a massive blow. This golden gummy fish, or this bright red Swedish catfish, is now kind of glowing brilliantly with the light, which looks very cool as it reflects through its kind of transparent insides. You can see, like, within it now that it's lit up, you can see it still has, like, organs and stuff that seem to be made out of gummy candy. Like, there's, like, a beating gummy candy heart somewhere within that fish. That is going to bring us to... I think it is... Oh, it's the fish's turn. Who, after that gigantic attack, it's going to, like, spin around and whip its tail at you, Elysia.
That's a miss.
A 12 misses, unfortunately. All right, yeah, the tail crashes against you, but you just kind of deflect it away with your armor and shield, able to catch a good bearing on it because of the fall. That's going to bring us now to Isaac. What do you want to do?
Alright, so the lizard girl, is she still here?
The lizard woman has already reached the bottom because she was falling a lot faster than y'all.
I apologize, I'm somewhat distracted. So, am I within reach of the lizard girl?
Yeah. Oh, the lizard woman? No, she's like hundreds of feet below you.
Oh, I meant
She just...
the hostile one.
You're within reach of the giant fish, yeah.
How close are we to the water?
Pretty far away. Like, this waterfall was extremely high, and now that you're falling at only 60 feet per round, it's going to be some time before you hit the bottom.
Very well. I will dump my olive oil all over my mace and attempt to whack the fish as hard as I can.
All right, go ahead and make an attack roll. Oh, geez. Unfortunately, that is not going to hit. As you swing your mace, while you're falling through the air, even though you've kind of controlled, it's still very awkward, and you still had some rotation from before that's messing you up. Anything else on your turn?
I don't believe I can do anything else.
Very well. That's going to bring us to the top of the initiative, I think, which is going to be Joy first.
Yeah. Alright. I can do this. I'm gonna die, but I can do this.
She's going to try.
You can do it, apparently.
Yeah,
Go ahead and
apparently.
make an attack roll.
Sure. Whew.
You hit for 11 points of slashing damage as the sword cuts into the fish. You hear it kind of let out, and is the sound it kind of makes.
Yeah, and I'm going to actually smite it as well because.
Oh man! Oh, the crit smite.
Yeah.
So roll me. Was it 4d8?
I guess it is.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's a lot.
I'm not used to it.
Not on that paladin life. Welcome to the most powerful class.
Jeez.
You deal another 20, so a grand total of 31 points of damage. You cut across it with radiant energy, and the in part of it just explodes as the radiant energy carries on past, cutting a huge kind of swath across it. Like its right fin is completely gone, and a large kind of chunk of its gummy body just kind of falls off as you absolutely destroy this fish with radiant energy. It's still alive, but it's very weakened. Anything else on your turn?
Be happy. I'm gonna be sick.
She's gonna spin like she's like spinning in the air and about to throw up.
Okay.
Vomit on the fish.
You see way down below, Joy, in your spins, as you made that attack, the lizardfolk woman was just putting two hands up in the air in celebration. She is very happy. That's going to bring us to... next up was Holly, I believe, yes?
Yeah.
Holly, what's it going to be?
Can Holly hold the fish and cast the Thunder Wave?
All right, yeah, you just kind of reach up next to it and kind of wrap your arms around the big fish, which looks at you just... go ahead and it makes a Constitution saving throw?
Yes, DC 12.
It just barely succeeds, so it's going to take 2 points of thunder damage. You watch as the fish's gummy body kind of jiggles and wiggles a little bit from the impact of the thunder wave, but it doesn't knock him back, unfortunately. Anything else on your turn?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. It's going to be Fish turn, which is going to go after you, Holly, since you just attacked him.
Wait, doesn't Elysia get in here?
Is Elysia before Fish?
I believe I have the higher dex we tied on initiative.
Oh, you are correct. I saw the 7s. So my bad. It'll be next round. Elysia, what do you want to do?
Elysia will. I said, by Salune, I will smite you! And she will guiding bolt again.
Is there
Oh my god.
It's smoke.
That is going to be a hit for sure. Oh my god, these damage rolls on all of you. Another guiding bolt. The thing lights once more. Last time the advantage was already a crit on the first hit, but you deal another 17 points of damage and kind of open it up for your allies to get an advantageous strike again. The fish is still kicking, unfortunately. And this is the point when it would have made that attack roll against you, Holly, but I'm going to have him re-roll.
Why don't they ever attack me?
It's because he's literally hugging it. Some of the thunder.
Holly is passed out.
Do you going to impose disadvantage?
Yeah.
I suspected. Yeah, it's.
Okay, Holly
is
passed out.
unconscious in the air. Holly, oh wait. Oh
Joey
shit.
was still spinning and about to throw.
Oh no,
up, so...
feather falling is not concentration, so you're fine. You're just falling slowly while being unconscious. That could have been very bad. That brings us to it's Isaac's turn.
Alright, so, I will attempt to whack it again.
Go for it.
Ooh, he does have that.
You have advantage, so that hits.
Woohoo!
That's crit. That's a crit. 9 points of damage. Your generic iron mace of death crashes into the thing, guided by the Light of Elysia. The Light of Elysia sounds like a cool fantasy thing. And as you hit it, it jiggles and wiggles. It's looking very close to being dead as it passes now to anything else on your turn. You have bonus action?
No, but may I attempt to look cool?
Go ahead and make a performance check. You do attempt to look cool. That is going to bring us to Joy.
Oh god.
It's right on the end of its ropes.
Spinning. Gonna try to do a spinny top of attack of happiness.
The spinning top attack of happiness. Roll damage.
Sure.
4 points of slashing damage as you cut across it. It's not quite enough. Is that all for your turn?
Yep.
All right. In that case, Holly, you're unconscious. Make me a death saving throw. Oh, you're back up with 1 HP! You're alive, and you can still take an action. What do you want to do, Holly?
I'm really mad at this fish. Like, super mad.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna go crazy with my dagger.
All right, go ahead and make an attack roll. 19, roll damage! Would you care to describe your killing blow on this fish?
I'm gonna go from head to tail and slide down the fish.
All right. Holly falls backwards after taking a brutal hit from the tail and seemed to be dead, but really Holly was just closing his eyes, focusing, waiting for the perfect moment to strike, and all of a sudden, Holly, you snap up and drag your dagger all the way from the bottom of the fishtail, splitting it open in midair, creating a literal fillet of Swedish fish in air as it kind of pans out. And you see the lizardfolk woman who's already landed in the river cheering from below as you have achieved success in this battle, finishing off the giant Swedish catfish and eventually landing down on the ground slowly thanks to your feather fall. And you all just kind of catch in the river. And the lizardfolk woman kind of holds the boat up, waiting for all of you, drags it offshore. You all kind of patch up your wounds for a brief moment. And she says, "Thank you so much for what you did. I never would have caught this fish if it wasn't for all of you."
Well,
Joy's
Your
just gonna
thanks are
go.
much appreciated.
Joy's gonna hurl over the side of the boat after all that spinning.
Okay.
How did you to make so much Swedish fish?
I think I
Oh.
broke something.
All in a day's work, ma'am.
And she hands each of you 100 Bartholomew bucks, and you each gain 1 point of experience, and you have succeeded in catching the Swedish fish. Congratulations, everybody!
yay! Uncle Clint's gonna love the Swedish fish I caught for him.
I was hoping to RKO one of the lizard men onto the fish. Oh well.
Perhaps another time in the epilogue. Jeremy, you here?
Peter, I'm always here.
I suspected that would